Okay, so this is part 2 on toxic masculinity, and yeah, uh, so we've talked a little bit about historical stuff, and that's a subject that we could talk about for quite a long time. I've actually wrote stuff down on my hand so I don't get twisted in where I'm going. So the next one is early years programming. So early years programming, I grew up in a time, it was 70s and 80s, where men didn't cry, men didn't discuss the feelings. The only time I ever saw my dad cry when I was a child was when my grandma passed. And, I still remember my mum just saying, just go in another room, dad'll be okay in a few minutes. He just lost his mum. We'd lost a grandma, As a child, you don't understand that shit. I think I was 7, maybe 8, when my grandma Rita died. And, it's that like hiding the feelings, hiding the emotions, hiding the fact that we're crying and that we're, it's susceptible really to life on life terms. And, if anything I've learned, life on life terms is bloody hard work. It's... excuse me, it's an ongoing process really. And yeah, so early years programming, what we get told, boys don't cry, what you crying for, I'll give you something to cry for, why are you talking about that stuff? I don't want to hear it. And it kind of like feeds into a negative form of programming, where as a male you're not allowed to talk about shit, and I think that's why, one of the reasons why a lot of men even now are still suffering from toxic masculinity. And it's the stuff that gets hardwired into your brain between the years of 0 and 7, which are your formative years where you learn the most. That stuff will stay with you for life. It's not something that is easy to undo. In fact, it's practically impossible to unwire. So if you've grown up in a toxic masculinity kind of environment, you're kind of going to be stuck with that for life, unless you're prepared to like look within yourself and go a bit deeper into stuff, and as we all know, going deeper into stuff is fucking painful, so that's kind of like the early years programming. How many times can you hear in your own head, don't tell anybody about that, what you're fucking crying for? Crying for me has been, over the years, has been a major thing. It's like, usually comes out anger, frustration. It's it's not something I really do in front of other people. I can probably count on bloody one hand the amount of times that I've cried in front of other people in recent years. What's all that about? It's a scary thing really. So the fact that this is 2020 and this shit's still going on, is something that needs to be looked at and something that needs to be changed. So I will check back for part 3 in a few seconds.